Hi, I'm James McGuire, and on today's eSpeaks, we're talking about edge computing. We're looking at some of the key trends and key stakeholders in the edge sector. To discuss that, I'm joined by a major expert in the topic. With me is Imran Ansani, an expert in retail edge technologies. Imran, very good to have you with us today.
Thank you, James. I'm excited to be on this podcast with you and talk about how technology continues to disrupt the retail industry.
I think it's really interesting about edge computing in that we hear the term a lot, specifically in the year 2022 was a rapid growth year. So we're hearing, edge computing this, edge computing that. I'm not sure that people understand exactly what it is, even after it's been used as often as it is. So how do you define edge? And I know it's actually a pretty big topic with sort of many subsectors, but how do you, in a nutshell, define edge computing?
So James, in a nutshell, I would say the edge is where data is acted on, near its point of creation so as to generate immediate real-time essential value. So the edge is a series of locations where your customer generates the core value of their business. If you're in retail, that is the sales floor, right? For a farmer, that could be out in the fields. And if you're a medical services professional, it's the examination room. And so the idea is that by leveraging edge computing, we can capture data and generate new value in those locations to solve problems in ways that we couldn't before. Because we can now process that data that's normally too large to move, let's say, halfway across the country to a data center or a cloud. Mm-hmm. And this needs real-time response that can be provided from a central facility or that has specific privacy and security requirements and is difficult to move, safely and cheaply, to long distances. So all these factors are driving a whole new set of technology patterns. And since this business is happening on the edge, the fundamental architectures are changing and are needed to support this. So the old model of centralized architectures with centralized data and centralized data processing in controlled environments far away from end users and devices is giving way to a more distributed, architecture of computing, where it is not, cloud versus edge, but it is a blend, an optimal, mix of cloud and edge to solve all your problems and, to be able to manage your data assets and get the outcomes that you need.
When I think about edge too, I think it's fairly well synonymous with the Internet of Things. Do you see that?
Oh, absolutely. I think that is one of the catalysts. What is driving edge computing is the prevalence and the growth of IoT devices. All over the place, especially sensors and cameras in retail stores, as well as devices. So yes, you're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's look at what's driving the market. I mean, there's a lot of different forces pushing and pulling, and a lot of investment in edge. What do you see as the key trends driving edge computing this year?
So I think, as you know, as well or better than anybody else, James, the retail industry is operating in a new landscape, right? And I think the industry posture and stance has moved from what was a pandemic response a couple of years ago to more recently to inflation management, right? And so now retail boards and executives, they are focusing on outcomes and not outputs. Margins are razor thin as always, and any investments in technology need to have a clear business case, ROI justification, to move forward. And there are three categories of trends, I think, that are emerging, that are contributing to edge computing, type investments. One is that your traditional competitive advantages are eroding, your price and selection assortment. If we build this, they will come, all that is giving, way to new, sort of behaviors. Channel preferences, as you know, are evolving. Now it is integrated omni-channel. That is the way forward, and that doesn't even include the realm of the metaverse, right? So that aspect of the business is evolving. And finally, technology sophistication is becoming table stakes. It's not a luxury or an afterthought anymore. It's almost an existential imperative, right? Digital transformation, IT modernization, being AI ready, AI first as an organization. These are all essential ingredients for success in any industry, and particularly for retail. So I would say that these are the changes that are forcing retailers to adapt, innovate, and have that not just competitive parity, but competitive advantage. To make their experiences for their customers superior and also make their operations more efficient. And all these things are contributing to the growth in edge computing.
I think the key part there that really resonates with me is the idea of the technological excellence. I mean, they say that every company is now a tech company, and I think it's more true than ever. Companies really need that tech support, and they need heavy duty, very sophisticated tech support. So that's a big competitive advantage. Let's drill down into use cases for edge. And we talked about it a little bit when you were defining it, but what are some important use cases for edge computing?
Yeah, so you can think of classifying the use cases in three categories at a high level, James. Let's talk about customer experience improvements, and then you can talk about operational efficiencies and enhancements, and then finally it could be a category called compliance and safety and health. Right? If you look at customer experience improvements, that first category we're talking about, improving your NPS scores, increasing your revenues. And this would include use cases like autonomous checkout or frictionless shopping or space planning, modular optimization, anything that helps customers have a better experience. If you look at the second category of operational efficiencies enhancements, those are measured by a realization of low operational costs, increasing productivity, labor efficiencies. So use cases there are out of stock management, mitigation, inventory tracking, supply chain resiliency, so all that, and there's a host of use cases there. And finally, compliance and safety and health, think about your ESG metrics, lowering your carbon footprints, better health outcomes, lowering of fines. During COVID especially, they were monitoring temperature, identifying spill detection even after COVID now. I mean, things of that nature are going to be significant under that category. So those are some of the use cases.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about some of the challenges the companies have, because I think a lot of companies have somewhat invested in edge, and many companies want to get on board more with edge, but it's not headache free. It's a powerful solution, but it's certainly not headache free. So what do you see as some common problems out there, and what advice do you give people in terms of solution for a common edge problem?
So I think some of the pushback or consternation that we hear from the industry, number one is that they don't understand. It's very nebulous, so it's important to kind of have an understanding of the fundamental definitions as well as the benefits. But specifically, I think CIOs and executives are worried about security. Right? Edge computing solutions provide added convenience and flexibility, but they also, introduce new security risks because there's so many more new attack surfaces, with more IoT devices, like you said, with more gateways, with more servers, with more. So all those things. So it's important to be able to invest in comprehensive security solutions. Encrypt the data at rest and in transit. Use identity and access management solutions to protect sensitive data. So that's one, aspect. The other one is data consistency. There are potential issues with consistency of locally stored information, since data is not connected to one central system, right? So they are afraid that, they might not have a single source of truth, because not everything is centralized. So it's important for companies to have version control protocols, ensure that data is regularly synced with a centralized system. You don't have to do that all the time, but at the same time, you want to make sure that, you use the data in real time, but then you also are able to sync it back, at the end of the day or at the end of the week or what have you. Reliability is another concern that retailers have. Edge devices can be prone to downtime, malfunction due to external factors like bad weather, power outages, even simple user errors. And to mitigate this, companies can invest in robust monitoring and alerting services that can detect and diagnose issues to minimize downtime. Additionally, they should also invest in redundancies, device redundancies in case of single point failures. And then finally, of course, cost. Edge computing solutions can be costlier, more expensive than traditional cost solutions due to the need for additional hardware and energy costs. But to reduce these costs, retailers should invest in sort of green energy solutions, as well as look at ways to consolidate their IT stack, and be able to manage everything from one single control plane. There are some additional benefits of edge computing where you can actually save on the total cost of your IT assets, and that is something that they need to look into as well.
Well, I think the big question about edge computing is what is the future of edge? What form will it take, and how will it be influenced by technologies like the metaverse and 5G? I mean, it's all that money pouring into edge. Certainly, many people want to know where's it going, so we can prepare now. Imran, what is your view? What is the future of edge computing?
Well, I mean, I think the short answer is in the retail industry, especially, edge computing is expected to revolutionize the way that customers shop, James, with a seamless experience, beyond the physical storefront, allowing retailers to capitalize on sort of a connected ecosystem. You talk about omni-channel retailing, but really, the holy grail, I think, is to be able to connect the information that you have from online, from the digital footprints, to the digital breadcrumbs that you have about that customer in the store. Because today, once the customer gets into the store, it's like a black box. You really don't know who that customer is, or what they're doing, or how they're behaving, and how is that customer, that behavior related to their behavior online. And I think edge computing can provide that data and visualization in real time with low latency, enabling retailers to collect and quickly analyze customer data for analytics, to understand customer behavior better, and that will help them target promotions, personalization, give them relevant product recommendations. And also, edge computing can improve the speed of the checkouts, or improve the quality of the store level inventory management, provide unique customer experiences. So in the near future, James, edge computing is going to become even more powerful in the retail sector due to cheaper, more powerful, and ubiquitous sensors, hardware, compute, storage, networking, making it the backbone of the retail industry. So watch out for that.
I think the word ubiquitous is accurate indeed. I think those sensors are going to be ubiquitous everywhere, from our coffee pot to that cash register to the stoplight. Edge is with us now and will be even more with us in the future, omnipresent and ubiquitous. So, Imran, I think you said it, a lot of interesting stuff. It's going to be fascinating to watch edge evolve. Please come back and talk with us again sometime.
Well, thanks for having me, James. Happy to be here.